You know what? Let's begin with a little history on college football finals. Sarah Fuller, the opportunity to become the first woman to play in a Power 5 game, the goalie for Vanderbilt's women's soccer team, but there were issues with Vanderbilt's kickers, be it COVID or injuries, so Fuller got the opportunity on Saturday against Missouri to make history. On the sideline, saw her family prior to the game to start the second half, comes out for the kickoff, squib it down to the right side, hoping Vanderbilt would recover with the kick, becomes the first woman to play Power 5 college football ever. On otherwise a low day for Vanderbilt, Fuller makes history.
Honestly, it's just so exciting, and the fact that I can represent like the little girls out there who wanted to do this or, thought about playing football or any sport really, and it encourages them to be able to step out and do something big like this, so it's awesome. I mean, I just want to tell like all the girls out there that you can do anything you set your mind to. Like, you really can, and if you have that mentality all the way through, like, you can do big things.
That's a feel-good moment to start college football final. Jess Palmer, Joey Galloway, Matt Barrie alongside. Hopefully everyone had a happy and safe Thanksgiving weekend. It's always when pressure starts to turn up in college football. We figured Sarah Fuller made history in the Power 5. Why not continue the theme with history in this show, starting with Mac and what was one of the great games we've ever seen out of a running back. Buffalo's Jarrett Patterson, coming off a 301-yard performance just last week, gets started where he left off, 3-yard touchdown. That is first. Buffalo takes an early 7-0 lead. A few minutes later, same score. Patterson gets the handoff, does the rest.
You got to give the offensive line some credit. Look at the blocking up front. Jarrett Patterson is 5'9", 195. Defenses can't see him behind that offensive line. Terrific job blocking.
Touchdown number 2. Buffalo up by 14. This was a big game in the MAC coming in. Here he breaks off another 42-yarder. Third TD in the first quarter. Buffalo pushes the lead to 11. Second quarter, up 4. Here he is again.
And for running backs, it's one thing to have vision and see the holes, but two, you've got to have a burst. And once you see that opening, put your foot in the ground and get north-south, you see the speed by Patterson. He's got little Darren Sproles in him, doesn't he?
Has Darren Sproles, has the quicks, punches it in from the one. First half, 18 carries, 267 yards, 5 touchdowns. Buffalo takes a 35-24 lead. Let's keep it going, shall we? Second and goal, 7-yard TD.
Penn State and Buffalo both 3-0 in the MAC East. This game is for first place outright.
6th TD of the game, and here, Jess, fourth quarter. Why not make it
Well,
7?
here's the thing. Kent State had 578 yards of offense themselves, so they had to keep Patterson in the game. It was unbelievable. His performance, just tremendous and inspiring to watch.
Now, I want to bring this up because he normally wears number 26. He wore number 41 on Saturday to honor Solomon Jackson, a Buffalo player who died in 2016. So he wore the 41. They rotated throughout the team. Patterson said you've got superpowers when you wear this number. 8th rushing touchdown of the game, tying Howard Griffith for most ever. I want you to remember that for later in the show. What a performance out of Patterson.
I was wearing 41, when someone gets that number, it feels they get superpowers, and I can't really explain it. And I just wanted to represent that number, real well, and I hope I did that today.
Anybody tell you on the sideline what kind of numbers you were racking up?
Nobody really told me, not until probably the 6-1, and I just really wanted to keep running. I knew we needed more touchdowns, to keep us in our league. My mind was, if they often score, offense has to score, and I just took it in my own hands just to, take over this game. I'm not really too pressed over the records. I know they will come, take everybody. I just wanted to win.
All right, so Patterson follows up 301 last week with 409 Saturday, joining Ricky Williams as the only players in FBS history with consecutive 300-yard rushing games. Williams did it in 1998, the year he went on to win the Heisman Trophy. You guys like the history theme?
Love it.
Let's go.
Want to do some more?
Let's go.
All right, Bama, Iron Bowl. Remember Steve Sarkisian, acting head coach for the Tide. Nick Saban home with COVID. We'll hear from him in a moment. You can rest easy on the couch and Mac Jones, your quarterback.
Nobody runs more double moves than Alabama. Devontae Smith had another big game, 7 catches, 171 and 2 touchdowns.
7-0 lead right out of the gate. Iron Bowl typically more intense coming in. Alabama, a huge favorite. Najee Harris, stiff arm for the
This is why Najee Harris has a chance to be an every down back in the NFL. Yeah, he's 6'2", 230, and yeah, he's physical, but he's got real soft hands. He can do it all.
He has grown his game throughout his career, and here Jones to John Mechie.
And Jones threw for 302, and that's why this Alabama offense is so potent. So many weapons on the outside.
All right, so now 21-3. Auburn needs a little something to start going their way. Bo Nix finds his star receiver, Seth Williams.
And every week we see Seth Williams climb over 2 or 3 defenders and make the acrobatic impossible catch, and here he drops the easy one. That was a sure touchdown off the board.
And here's why that was big. Nix was later intercepted in the drive, 21-3 at the half. Second half, same thing we always see, Jones to Smith and Yak.
Yeah, all work by Smith. 8 receiving touchdowns in the last 3 games.
Alabama leads 28-6. That a 58-yarder to the house. Mac Jones feeling good. Third quarter, same score. Harris finds the gap. Look at that cut.
What a career Harris has had. 96 rushing yards in his final home game playing for the Tide.
17th rushing touchdown of the season. Fourth quarter, they just put this thing on ice to Mechie. Alabama has now won the last 5 Iron Bowls, played in Tuscaloosa, beat down 42-13. Let's hear from Nick Saban from home.
I can't really explain it. I mean, this is an unusual circumstance for me to be in, to be watching from afar, to see our team play from afar, win the game. They were excited after the game. They were very happy, that they could go out there and do a great job in this game, playing at home. Last home game for a lot of the seniors. I'm sure the players wanted to do a good job for them, and I'm really happy for our seniors and the great contribution that they've made, in their career here. And it's great for them to win the last game in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Saban's a billiards hall.
I like it. You think he was playing pool during the
just start
game?
launching those all over the
country. At what point when they were up by 20?
We did the history and the theme. Here's what it was. Mac Jones joined Tua as the only quarterbacks to throw 5 touchdowns in Iron Bowl history. Tua did so in 2018. Both times Alabama won in convincing fashion. And so another beatdown for Alabama as they are now feeling good, hitting all strides coming into this one. And Joey, I want to start with you because we looked into this game. Maybe a little effect of not having Nick Saban there. That's clearly not a problem when Mac Jones is your quarterback.
Yeah, and I don't think that Saban's really worried about this game because of guys like Mac Jones, all the weapons he has outside. Mac Jones completes 76% of his passes, and when you watch him throw the ball, the timing in which he gets the ball out is at an NFL level. We don't say that a lot about college quarterbacks, but Mac Jones is a guy that's going to continue to climb the boards when you talk about NFL-ready quarterbacks. And I mentioned it earlier, nobody runs more double moves than Alabama. It starts up front. Look at the blocking by the offensive line. But once he makes this pump, watch how quickly he then gets the ball out of his hands, down the field, throws one of the best deep balls around. On the money, on stride, and that's why they get so much yak, because of his placement of the ball. Over the corner, beautiful placement. He has 8 touchdowns of 30 yards or more, which is tops in FBS because of his ability to deliver the ball.
Well, how about this defense and how well they've been playing? They struggled early on this year, but they're improving their last 4 games. They're now getting a consistent pass rush, getting home with 4 guys. Christopher Allen getting that sack. And their safeties are playing and trusting their eyes. They're flying downhill. Daniel Wright and Jordan Battle, when they see run, they're adding numbers to the equation. And then turnovers. This is a simple bubble. We see this each and every week from offenses all over the country. Look how physical and aggressive these DBs are at the point of attack. They're disrupting the route. You get a true freshman in Brian Branch. He's going to jump it, get the interception, and take it the other way. The Crimson Tide now have 10 takeaways in their last 5 games. I think most importantly, guys, this defense has been able to stay relatively healthy this year. And that's been a huge problem for them in recent years. I know this, not the same defense that gave up 48 points against Ole Miss early this season. And with Mac Jones and the way he's playing, as Joey just showed you, that offense, as explosive as they are, and the defense now playing the way they are these last 4 games, you could easily make the argument Alabama right now looks like the most complete team in the country.
They do look like the most dominant. More history for Alabama, 40 points in 7 consecutive games. That sets a school record, also ties an SEC record. They are rolling on all cylinders, are the Crimson Tide. Let's go over to the Big Ten now and focus on everyone's darling last week, The fighting Joey Galloways, Northwestern and Michigan State coming to Northwestern entered Saturday with the best strength of record in the country. They forgot they had to go to East Lansing, Rocky Lombardi to Jalen Naylor.
And I like the aggressiveness of Michigan State. Lombardi is tied for the lead in the Big Ten in interceptions, but they come out throwing the ball. Nobody expected it.
And then Lombardi, he looked good. Throws a dime to Jaden Reed.
And they were taking advantage of Northwestern miscues. Peyton Ramsey threw an early pick. Michigan State was able to capitalize, scoring points.
But you knew Northwestern was going to come back. Michigan couldn't put them away. Peyton Ramsey, great play call here, 4th and goal.
Northwestern is a second-half defensive team, only giving up points one game in the second half. Now they're close to the comeback.
So here we go, 17-13. Cam Porter gets the snap. Wildcat formation, 20-17 lead again. This was a great finish. 6:41 to play, 3rd and 7. Ramsey rolls to his left, but picked by Shakir Brown.
Shakir Brown had 2 interceptions in this game, and we're not used to seeing Northwestern turn the ball over. Michigan State's defense showed up today.
Now, on the play, he was hit by Berkeley Holman. Scary moment. Holman was taken to the hospital. They tell us he's awake and alert, so good news there. And at the end of the game, they just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, just too many mistakes for Northwestern in this one. You got to be able to handle the success after that big win against Wisconsin last week. Northwestern's Big Ten title hope still alive. College football playoff, probably not.
29-20 the final, snapping a 6-game winning streak. Here's Pat Fitzgerald.
I think the difference is the turnovers. I think it stalled drives. If our field goal drives end up being touchdown drives, it's a different game. So again, credit their defense. And, I think, again, anytime the first time you play each other, which our staffs really hadn't played against each other in the past, there was a bunch of adjustments going on. And again, credit them with a week to prepare for us.
All right, so Northwestern still a remarkable season. We welcomed Trevor Lawrence back on Saturday, but were we welcoming him back just to say goodbye in Death Valley? We'll have that coming up. Plus, Heisman talk. Who leads the ballot? Jesse and Joey will give you their favorites. Is it a Thanksgiving weekend? We're off and running. This is College Football Final. Pat, Jesse, and Joey back with you. College Football Final. Texas A&M returning to action after a couple of COVID postponements/cancellations. They got LSU first quarter. Isaiah Spiller, a star. This is a virtual lock implication. Texas A&M minus 14.5 for Joey.
Isaiah Spiller, big game, 27 carries, 141 in a game that is raining, so running the ball was key.
Yeah, it was sloppy in the first half, sloppy in the second. TJ Finley, true freshman, to Keyshawn Boutte.
Also a true freshman, yeah. The number 3 receiver coming out of high school this past recruiting class. This was called a touchdown. They would review it, didn't have and control the ball all the way through the process of the catch, overturned.
I mean, it looked like it was going to be great. And then very next play, Finley picked off by Jalen Jones.
Finley threw 2 interceptions in this game. Couldn't get any rhythm going.
Third quarter, LSU backed up. Finley under pressure again gets picked off by Buddy Johnson.
True freshman quarterback. He struggled with his accuracy. He struggled with his touch. They would go back and forth between him and another true freshman quarterback, Max Johnson. This pass rush for Texas A&M, they were in these quarterbacks' laps all game long.
So you know what? It's 20-0. He gets benched. Ed O had enough. 4th and 1. LSU 16. Tyrion Davis-Price 3 yards. First down. Uh-oh. Joey starting to panic. 1:03 to go. 2nd and 15. Max Johnson. True freshman star tight end Eric Gilbert. 15 yards. First down. Look at the clock. Tick, tick, tick. Next play. 1st and goal. Johnson. Terrace Marshall. Oh, Joey. Backdoor cover band. Here's Jimbo.
Offensively, I was not very impressed. And that's my fault. As a coach, I got to get them better ready to play. We get too inconsistent on offense, missed blocks, missed throws, not getting open, kind of everything. Defensively, I thought we're outstanding. I thought our defense would play their tails off, did a heck of a job. And special teams, too many critical penalties. We had a major punt return down to 25, get a penalty, had 2 right there. Too many penalties in special teams. And that's my fault as a coach. We got to get that cleaned up, and we need to get a lot sharper.
Joey, quickly reaction to that.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
All right, thank you.
I don't want to care about that.
All right, well, your other lock.
Trevor Lawrence.
Clemson and Pitt, point total. Good luck, sir. Trevor Lawrence, would he be saying goodbye to Death Valley? 56 is the point total to over. 37 days since we've seen Trevor. Touchdown early, and then a flea flicker here to Cornell Powell.
The question is, would they be rusty? You mentioned the 37 days for Trevor Lawrence. He finally gets back on the field, and he was motivated and ready to go.
So a great catch by Powell, 302 passing yards first half. Lawrence then to Braden Galloway.
You got the deep ball with Trevor Lawrence. Outside, this one to Powell again on the go route. I'll tell you, Powell, these guys, these receivers outside, they've always got somebody. Mike Williams, T. Higgins, now you've got Powell. Just a plethora of targets.
This one, the point total at 55 to Galloway. That's your boy.
Start the celebration. This is the one that puts us at the over. Felt pretty comfortable about it. Come on, cousin. You can't step out of bounds when we're about to hit the over.
Yeah, come on. Did he get it? A Galloway to a Galloway. Travis Etienne punches it in. Final score 52-17. Here's Trevor Lawrence on what sounded like his last game.
Last night in Death Valley, super special night. Wouldn't want to go out any other way. Just super grateful to be a part of Clemson University and even more so this program. Love all the coaches, all the players, and my years here have been amazing. So I'm thankful for everybody, thankful for the fans. Thank you, guys.
So, Joey, good news. You hit the over, 1-1 for your picks. What about Florida and Kentucky, first quarter? Kyle Trask, welcome back, Kyle Pitts.
Best tight end in the country, 6'6", runs outstanding routes. You cannot cover him with safeties, linebackers, or cornerbacks. He had a huge impact against Kentucky.
I'm telling you what, he is a frightening player. And then a little special teams effort for Florida. Kind of sluggish in the first half with their offense. Kadarius Toney fixes that with one punt return.
But watch what happens to Kentucky's punt team. They thought the punt was going left. They kicked it right. And just so happens Kadarius Toney, one of their best playmakers, takes it back for a touchdown.
That was big before the half. And then Trask to Toney out wide. Toney looking to throw the ball himself.
Dan Mullen's just having fun now calling ball plays on offense. It actually looked like Toney maybe had a shot at a post down the middle of the field, but he's able to buy time. And, you know, if Kyle Trask is finding number 84, then why shouldn't Toney?
I mean, it was a gain of 12, and then Trask over the middle to Pitts, 21-10 lead. Last of the fun for Florida. Pitts, another big day, same for Trask.
Yeah, and Trask was on the money once again. And Kyle Pitts, welcome back. 5 catches, 99, and 3 touchdowns.
Florida outscored Kentucky 20-0 in the second half, gets the win.
Sky's the limit. You know, we have huge goals for this team, and, you know, to do that, we got to continue to get better every week. You know, like I said, like I've always said, you know, I'm just focused on the team, and, you know, going one game at a time. And our goal is to win, and, you know, that's all I'm focused on.
All right, so as we turn the page to December, typically in our 2020 vision, as we look ahead, this is where Heisman Trophy candidates start to separate themselves going into conference championship games. So let's have a little Heisman talk. Joey, I'll start with you. Who do you like right now and why?
I like Kyle Trask. He has 34 touchdown passes, which is 4 more than Joe Burrow through 8 games of the season, and he's doing it without a running game. They don't have a running back that has gone over 100 yards this season. He has at least 3 touchdown passes in 8 straight games. His timing getting the ball out, the location of the passes. He's as good as anyone I've seen play this season. That's why I like what he's doing. They are a passing football team, and because of Kyle Trask, and he lost Kyle Pitts for a couple games there, the amazing tight end, that's why this is a team that we think might be able to challenge Alabama for the SEC title.
And by narrowest of margins, I'm going to go with Mac Jones at Alabama. His team's 8-0, number 1 in the country. He's played big. He's had some Heisman moments. Over 400 yards, 4 TDs against A&M, a team that beat Florida and Kyle Trask. And the Georgia game was sensational. Over 400 yards, 4 TDs against a fully loaded Georgia defense. But to me, really, it's not even so much about the numbers. It's about the film and how he's playing. His ability to move inside the pocket, avoid the rush, throw under duress, and anticipate throws is as good as any quarterback I'm seeing in the country. So to me, by the narrowest of margins, I would give it to Mac Jones.
And I know I wasn't asked, but I'm going to throw Jarrett Patterson in there just because continuously it's 2 games in a row over 300 yards.
1,000 yards in 2 games.
He's been amazing. At least get him into the conversation.
Which is why you weren't asked. Go.
Thank you, Galloway. So I'm not going to ask you about this one. Quickly, Jesse, I'll go to you. Justin Fields, not enough body of work.
He might only play 5-6 games. He simply won't have the stats. And more importantly, I don't think he's going to have the Heisman moment. In the past, these players have had big games. If Ohio State doesn't get into a Big Ten championship game, his biggest game will be against Indiana. He had his worst game as a Buckeye, throwing 3 picks.
And I think that's his problem. Through 4 games, his worst game was the marquee game, the one that everyone was watching, a top 10 matchup, throws the 3 interceptions in that game, and you came away with sort of a bad feeling. So now they get canceled this week, so he didn't have a chance to erase that while Kyle Trask has a big game. Mac Jones goes out and has a big game. So if and when Fields gets back on the field, he has to have a huge game.
Thank you for paying attention
Thanks,
to me
buddy.
saying quickly. So as we look to Fields, here's what's going on with Ohio State with respect to what they have left on the schedule. Fields, as we mentioned a second ago, he's missed 2 games. In order to be eligible to play in the Big Ten championship game, a team cannot miss more than 2 games relative to the conference's average number of games played. They must play the final 2 games on their schedule to have all of this in store for Ohio State. Why is that important? Because if Ohio State couldn't play one of their last 2 games, Indiana would be able to take advantage of that, taking on Maryland. And Michael Penix Jr. struggled against Maryland. No score in the first. Penix pass overthrown, incomplete.
Yeah, Michael Penix was struggling with the accuracy. He was only 6 of 19. And Talia Tungavailoa, he threw 3 picks for Maryland, so bad quarterback play.
And another overthrown pass by Penix, 6 of 19, 84 yards. Third quarter, Indiana leads 9-3. Second and 4, Penix can do this, takes it inside, gets it inside the red zone.
This is a scary moment for Indiana. We know how important Penix is to this offense. Goes down, limps off the field, looks like it might be an ankle, comes down kind of funny, and you're holding your breath if you're an IU fan. You're a top 12 team right now. You need Penix for the stretch run.
Yeah, he would not return to the game, so backup quarterback Jake Tuttle would come in for the rest of the game. Probably a good scenario, just run it with Stevie Scott.
Well, this is good news, too, because in their loss against Ohio State, Indiana only ran for -1 rushing yards. In this one, they were relying on the backs more. 234 yards on the ground. They did it by committee, and that was the difference.
And that was a season-high 234 yards rushing. Tim Baldwin takes it in. Scott to the end zone, 80 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Indiana able to hold on and win 27-11. Still ahead on college football final. The Egg Bowl is coming. A debut from Lane Kiffin. You've got the Pirate Mike Leach, who comes out on top in a game that typically can be a little wheels off. Plus, there's the top 5. The top 2, probably no suspense. 3 through 5, that's where we'll fill you guys in. Coming up on college football final. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. How about the Pokes coming in? Have lost 2 straight to Texas Tech. Celebrating Senior Day, Chuba Hubbard's sidelined with a leg injury. Texas Tech tries a surprise onside kick, but Jason Taylor scoops and scores 48-yard TD.
And I don't think that's the way it went in practice. I think when they kicked that thing in practice, they recovered it. Someone has to cover the ball.
So Oklahoma State takes the lead, then Allen Bowman, Trey Sterling picks it.
This Pokes defense gave up 41 points against Oklahoma last week, 639 yards in this game to the Red Raiders, but they had 2 takeaways, and that was the difference.
Kind of digging the all-orange uniform. Spencer Sanders then throw it to your star receiver, Tylan Wallace.
Wallace had 7 catches, 129. Spencer Sanders has been up and down this season, but had a big game in this one.
This probably a little closer than people thought early. It really was back and forth, and then Sanders in this offense, they scored 4 touchdowns in 14 plays.
No Chuba Hubbard, no L.D. Brown at running back, so they had to get a bit more creative. But you know, anytime, any week they get down inside the red zone, Spencer Sanders is a threat with his legs.
And then Bowman now deep, 31 yards for the score. One-handed grab.
I thought this game was over, but Tech is hanging in there. How about the one-handed catch? Pull it in, touchdown, we got a ball game.
6-point game it was, but again, we mentioned no Chuba Hubbard. Jackson had a remarkable day.
And this is the story. Desmond Jackson, their 3rd string back, 36 carries, a workhorse, 236 yards, 3 TDs.
So Oklahoma State gets the win, 50-44. So here's a look at the Big 12 championship scenario. Iowa State with the big win against Texas on Friday. They're almost a lock. Oklahoma with the tiebreaker over Oklahoma State. If they win out, they are in the Big 12 championship. All right, now let's take a look at who you guys think could be in the college football playoff with the Capital One fan vote.
All right, Barry, week 13 in the books. Joey and I both agree with the committee. We got Alabama 1, we got Notre Dame 2, but Ohio State had a game canceled this weekend. Cincinnati, a game postponed. So maybe some room for some changes in our top 5. Joey, kick us off with your number 5 spot.
And I like Cincinnati much more than the committee likes them. I like their own defense. They might be the best defensive team in this top 5. They had a game canceled this week. Key for Cincinnati this weekend, though, SMU losing their game. SMU was 16 when Cincinnati beat them.
Right.
That helped their resume.
Yep.
Them losing now will hurt their resume. Be interesting to see what the committee does.
Still got Texas A&M number 5. Kellen Mond struggled throwing the football against LSU, but I love what I'm seeing from A&M's defense right now, especially up front. Very, very disruptive. That head-to-head win against Florida for me still carries a lot of weight right now. It might not down the road if Florida were to beat Bama in an SEC title game. I'm going Ohio State at number 4. I moved them down last week from 3 to 4. I've said it. I don't think they're as talented as they were last year, or maybe 2018 or 2014 when they won the national title. Doesn't matter. If they win out, they still get in. But they're in danger of potentially not qualifying for the Big Ten championship game if they don't get to 6 games during the regular season. They've got to start dominating and looking impressive for the committee in games.
Number 1, Clemson at number 4. Really like the way they looked this weekend. 31 points in the first quarter against Pitt. Game last week canceled. Dabo Swinney's talking a lot about Florida State into the week. I was concerned, number 1, would they be rusty? Number 2, would they be focused? The way they looked, they were focused. This was as good as I've seen Clemson look on the offensive side and defensive side this season.
What do you got, number 3?
At number 3, I'm going Ohio State, and this is more about moving Notre Dame up. Last week I had Ohio State 2, but Notre Dame went on the road, beat North Carolina, which was ranked number 19. I like the way they're playing. Now they have Syracuse, Wake Forest left on their schedule, which sets up, if they get to the ACC championship game, a rematch between Clemson, Notre Dame, and see if both teams might possibly still stay in the top 4.
Now that Trevor Lawrence is back on the field and James Skalski and Tyler Davis, a lot of those playmakers on defense are finally healthy. They look like a complete team, and you can make an argument they look like the best team in the country when they have their best players. Notre Dame at number 2, really impressed with their win against then number 19 UNC by 14 points. It's really important Notre Dame stays at number 2 here down the stretch in the regular season so that even if they do lose to Clemson in the ACC title game, they may not slide out of the top 4. Of course, we both got Bama number 1. A lot of chaos coming up, Barrie. Bama versus Florida, maybe Notre Dame versus Clemson down the stretch. But for now, through week 13, this is our top 5.
Give me the chaos. I love it. You may not agree with the guys. You do get an opportunity as you take a look at the slate coming up next week. Remember, go to SportsCenter's Twitter handle on Monday to cast your Capital One fan vote. More from Virtual Locks. Georgia and South Carolina, just about everybody out for South Carolina. So Kirby Smart had this one in control. This is Jesse Virtual Lock. Georgia minus the 21.5. James Cook, 44-yard game.
Lots of work by the offensive line up front, but James Cook had a big game. 6 carries for 104. It's pretty good average.
And then he takes the pitch here, runs it in. Georgia up 14.
South Carolina said on defense this week in practice, scout team, they had punters and kickers because they just didn't have any bodies. So it's hard to get ready for an offense as physical as Georgia.
Yeah, and we saw the physicality on Saturday. Zamir White, 22-yard score.
Georgia ran the ball 332 yards. JT Daniels basically took the day off.
He didn't need to play. I mean, this is another example of a Cook, 29 yards.
Yeah, it's such a deep running back group. You got Zamir White, James Cook, Dalvin Cook's little brother. Everybody was getting involved.
And this was a non-sweat scenario for Jesse Palmer. JT Daniels to Arian Smith, 31-yard touchdown. This 45-16, the final for Georgia. No problem for them covering for Jesse. How about the Egg Bowl? I love that this is the first time we get Mike Leach, we get Lane Kiffin in a game that typically is just wild. I want to flashback last year, November 28, 2019, 21-14, 9 seconds to go. Matt Corral, the touchdown pass to Elijah Moore.
Don't do it.
But this is what happens. Celebrates by hiking his leg like a dog.
It's aggressive.
An unsportsmanlike conduct. 21-20 extra point to come. Luke Logan kicks the extra point, misses wide right, and Mississippi State wins. The ramifications that penalty had on both of these programs, incredible. Moore had a good game. Again here, Corral to Moore, 53-yard gain.
Moore, 12 catches, 139 yards. More importantly, 86 catches on the season. That is the most in Ole Miss history.
So later in the game, Ole Miss up 24-21, second and goal. Jerry and Ely through the middle.
This was a balanced attack from Lane Kiffin's offense. Look at this Ole Miss O-line push and the drive by Jerry and Ely here against what's supposed to be a physical front seven of the Bulldogs.
So Ole Miss takes a 31-21 lead. Here comes Will Rogers trying to come back. Jaquarius Spivey, what a catch, 41-yard gain.
And Rogers threw for 440 and 3 touchdowns. Mississippi State, has shown some signs of being a good offense.
Yeah, they had a chance at the end to at least tie it and send it to overtime. Hail Mary falls short. Ole Miss wins the Egg Bowl 31-24. So Lane Kiffin gets his first win in this rivalry.
It's exciting. I mean, once you're in the game, you kind of forget about that stuff, and we screwed around and let them hang around in the game. But we won in the end, so good for our players and fans.
What does this say about where this team has come this entire season?
Well, I think that's 3 wins in a row. Our goal is to finish as one of the hottest teams in the country, so we got 2 more to go.
So Ole Miss, a win in their rivalry game. Penn State winless on the season. Could they get there first over a struggling Michigan program? And speaking of a good win on Saturday, East Carolina came in against SMU, but paint it purple. Is it too soon to get excited for next season? Don't look ahead. Look to right now. Nice win for East Carolina. More on college football final when we return. All right, so Penn State's been struggling this season, as has Michigan. Penn State winless on the year. Late in the first half, all tied at 7. Penn State first and 10. Michigan 28. Sean Clifford got the start. Look, he's got some bursts and some blocking.
Well, and you got to know this if you're Michigan. They love to play a lot of man-to-man coverage. When you've got a running quarterback, that can be a problem. 73 rushing yards for Clifford, but the big key, he did not turn the ball over.
That is big. Penn State up 14-7. A little over 13 minutes to play. Michigan 20-10. Second and 1. Hassan Haskins punches it in.
In the past
Michigan
few weeks,
coming back.
This has been an issue for Michigan, is their ability to run the ball, but Haskins over 100 yards, and it was key for Michigan's offense.
Will Levis, the big quarterback draw. Penn State goes up 27-17. So last chance for Michigan. 4th and 1. Joe Milton is going to try the quarterback sneak, but bottled up.
Michigan tried 2 quarterbacks, Cade McNamara, that had given them a spark in recent weeks, and Joe Milton, but Penn State's defense came up with the big plays. Harbaugh can't believe it.
3-3 versus Penn State in his Michigan career.
I'm just happy for these players. I'm just so happy for these players and our staff. And you know, I just want to say to everybody out there, this 2020 has been challenging on everybody, but just keep battling and stay positive, and we're going to get through this not only from a football perspective, but in life too.
I mean, how do you think you'll respond, I guess, in the weeks ahead?
I mean, it you know, very competitive, and you know, want to win, and I hate losing, so respond by you know, pressing on and attacking it. That's the beauty of the response from me, and I know a bunch of our players, and you know, that's our only choice.
Let's keep it Big Ten. Rutgers, Purdue. Rutgers looking for their 2nd road win this year. Early 3rd, Purdue up 30-20. Purdue kicking off after a touchdown. And Aaron Cruikshank from the end zone, 100-yard late as we got a kick return.
Yeah, and this is the key. This is after a touchdown and the answer by Rutgers. Purdue took the momentum. You kick it off. Great blocking up front, untouched to the end zone.
What a great story so far. Under 4 to go in the 3rd. Rutgers 2nd to go. This punches it in.
They were 0-9 in conference play a year ago. They had tough losses in OT against Michigan and a loss against Illinois recently. They've now got 2 wins on the season. I think you could argue they're the most improved team in the country. 37-30, Rutgers the final snap, and a 32-game losing streak when down double digits at the half. Oh, it's never a bad time for Maction. Akron hosting Miami. Akron trying to avoid their 21st straight loss. Did they have it in them? Down 24-0. We'll just end that suspense. No. Zach Gibson tosses over the middle, bounces in the arms for Emmanuel Rugamba, returns it 62 yards. Oski.
And Akron had 145 total yards. Tough to break a streak if that's all you're going to get on the offensive side.
So a big win for Miami, 38-7 the final. Northern Illinois taking on Western Michigan, 2nd quarter. Western Michigan trailing 17-13. John Richardson kicks for 65 yards. Dwayne Eskridge, 100 yards.
How about that? 3 straight wins by 1 possession now for Western Michigan. They're living dangerously, but they've started the season now 4-0, first place in the MAC West Division.
That had me looking for the kicker because there could have been a cut. That could have been it.
That very well
it was
could have been
actually a hell of an effort.
You're ready for it now, though.
Western Michigan wins 30-27.
And here it is, my favorite part of the program, the Matt Barrie and Rudy Participation in Effort Award. And the winner is, this week, you know it's a kicker, Nate Needham from Bowling Green. And let's just enjoy the effort. Go get him, Matt. Let's go. Turn it on, man. Go get him, Matt.
But what I am going to say, Barry, is I'm very impressed that you don't quit on the play. I mean, there was a point when he beat you right about the 50-yard line. You knew you weren't going to catch him.
No, right here. Barry thinks he got him.
Like, right here
Barry
you do.
Turn and go.
But then at this point here,
Big, baby.
you know, I probably would have stopped. I would have stopped.
Big Barry.
You got close. You got within about, what, 1.8, 1.7 yards?
I mean, you're keeping up. It's
You're
right
in the
there.
screen.
Now you're starting to, when he puts the hand up, Barry, that's when you knew.
No, he had the high knees.
It was over.
Yeah, delayed reaction on that one. We'll get him someday.
Not quick.
Still ahead on college football final. There are 5 of them. They are top plays, and they are good. We'll show you what we have coming up on top plays.
You guys remember that's $1 coming up, but last week, making fun of me, we got Matt Barrie this week messing up early.
300 rushing yards in consecutive games. The only other player that has that has won a Heisman. You guys know who it is?
Ricky Williams?
Isn't it Ricky Williams at the bottom of the screen? Hey, Palmer, just take over.
No. Illinois' Howard Griffin. Next, college football top 25 rankings come out on Tuesday. Probably shouldn't be too much movement. 7 p.m. Eastern, ESPN and the ESPN app. Checking on Coastal Carolina, visiting Texas State. Third quarter, Coastal up 35-7. One of the better players for the Chanticleers, C.J. Marable, 23-yard touchdown.
Marable had 57 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, but Coastal Carolina 406. Up next, Liberty at 9-1.
That's going to be a fun game to watch. 49-14, the final. Coastal gets the win. What about UL Monroe? 0-8 facing Louisiana. First half winding down. Louisiana up 42-14. Levi Lewis to Kyron Lacey for the score.
Yeah, the Raging Cajuns, man, they were motivated in this one. Perfect back shoulder throw by Lewis. He had 3 TD passes in the game. They were winning 49-14 at halftime.
Then J.of.A. Mungale hits Caleb Carter, who does the rest. 13-yard score. This was an absolute beatdown. 70-20 the final.
Yeah, no fancy gimmicks this week. Joey and I are just going to make you money. We're going to give you good picks. Starting with Ohio State at Illinois. They're a 27.5-point favorite. They're going to try to make an example on the road out of Illinois.
Just yesterday, Ohio State planned to show and go in Champaign this morning without Ryan Day. Now the Buckeyes aren't playing at all.
All right, so that took out a virtual lock, and I had to go to the Virtual Locks rule book to see what would happen. Article 15C-4 of the Virtual Lock manuscript. If Joey or Jesse make a pick for the Friday game, pregame or halftime, that is subsequently canceled after the airing of said pick, they have the ability to modify that pick as long as there is evidence it was done prior to noon Saturday. So, as the host and the keeper of this program, I needed proof of this, and there it was. It was texted to our producer.
Happy Thanksgiving, NC State of no Ohio State. I was on the phone all night last night with the committee throughout the appeals process trying to get my new pick submitted in time.
So I asked for proof. They gave it to me by a text. So then we rolled in the new Virtual Locks pick, which was NC State at Syracuse. And maybe you probably would have just rathered a push on this one because early on, Trevor Pena, 98-yard touchdown.
And this is a great start for Syracuse. Dino Babers' offense hadn't been great this year. Syracuse up and down offensively. Great way to get on the board early. A big-time kick return.
Ties it at 7 apiece. The number in this one that Jesse took, NC State -17. NC State down. Bailey Hockman wrapped up in the backfield.
Yeah, Bailey Hockman did some interesting stuff in this game. He fumbled the ball going into the end zone for a sure touchdown. I'm giving him a bonus dollar.
Oh.
Here getting sacked, trying to throw the ball away. Throws it out of the back of the end zone for a safety. Dude, you're costing me dollars.
Yeah, that was a lot of money here on this one. And then Hockman hits Thayer Thomas. They tried to stay in it for a touchdown.
And Thomas had 9 catches for 102, 3 touchdowns. It wasn't all bad for Hockman.
Failed 2-point conversion. Then Hockman to Emeka Emezie for the touchdown. NC State takes the lead.
This is what I was thinking. You got 6'4", 6'3" receivers outside you could take advantage of over these shorter Syracuse corners.
And then later, Rex Culpepper scrambles. Syracuse down 36-29. Runs it backwards. Loss of 11 with, what are you doing?
Syracuse is 1-9. This is how you get to 1-9.
Oh,
you got one more play.
No, that wasn't
you
even,
got time.
That wasn't even the worst of it.
One more play.
4th and goal.
No
Come on.
timeouts.
Get
Got
up.
to take a shot.
2,
You practice the situation.
Here we go.
Block it.
Wait, that's not what you're supposed to do.
Let's talk about it.
Unbelievable. NC State wins, however,
of cover.
They didn't cover. So for the second consecutive week, look, we had that, which we just saw. We had backdoor cover band by LSU. So it's just 500. Joey's still 2 games over 500. Jesse 10-9-1 on the season.
Time now for That's a Dollar. Last week I gave a guy $1 for petty theft. This week I'm giving it to somebody for being a delinquent. Look at Stanford right here on the zone reach. Tackles Chase Garbers for Cal. Takes his shoe and just rejects it. I like the technique. No discus, no shot put. He just throws it in the trash, and Garbers is happy. He's like, dude, thank God these Under Armours are half size too big.
All right, so Georgia Tech, Duke. First of all, the first one is that he's just letting it go. Bro, that's a kick. You can't do that. So dollar number one for the special teams coach as well. And then Chase Bryce is sacked, fumbles, Georgia Tech recovers. That sequence is worth $5.
How about my man, Amani Rogers? You got to get a belt. The way these pants are made nowadays, if you grab the back, they're going to come down. Thank you for covering that. We didn't want to see that, but you got to get a belt, Armani.
So no belts anymore? They don't wear belts?
Apparently not.
An extra 10 cents for his teammate that just wiped out in the end zone side.
Oh, when you said moon and then wipe, I was like, where are we going with this? The annual, the field rush before the game to get it. Skylar Wetzel, this was pregame. This guy can't. This is going to be an issue if the holder can't hold. So wouldn't you know it? Look at this, extra point. Skylar Wetzel can't hold on the extra point, so Baylor's only up 6-0.
We don't draw it up that way. We go back and practice it on the sideline. There we go, get it down.
Jay Sedgwick goes in. It's like, we're going to need another holder if we're going to come back and win this game. Snap clean, hold clean, kick clean. That was the game winner for John Myers, and Baylor goes on to win 32-31. They had to come back. They were down 9 with 5 minutes left. But hey, we got the holding situation figured out. That's all that matters. Time for top plays. Number 5, not shown in that highlight a moment ago, Charlie Brewer to R.J. Sneed.
Watch R.J. Sneed get the foot down. The official is confused. Let's take another look at this. Goes up, pulls it in, right foot, right toe down. That's a completion.
I say good win for Baylor on Saturday. Number 4, Kent State and Buffalo. Dustin Crum to Keyshawn Abrams. Look at this catch by Abrams.
Yeah, he's looking across the sideline at this Jarrett Patterson guy who's lighting his defense up, and he's like, bro, I got to make a play and get in college football final. Well done, good sir.
Number 3, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Will Rogers to Jaden Wally. Takes it in. Gets a hit, but he still makes the catch.
Doesn't matter. Take the hit. One hand, he's looking at the defender while he catches this ball with one hand.
And then he gets up and like, you can't knock me down. Number 2, Louisville, Boston College, C.J. Lewis, one-handed grab.
Yeah, Grossel had to come in the game at quarterback for Boston College, throws a fade. A lot of confidence in your wideouts when they start making plays like this. Looked like he had lost his bounce getting around that corner. Nice job.
Trap it on the shoulder pad. All good. The top play from Saturday, Jordan Addison makes the great catch. In a long day for Pittsburgh, at least that was the high.
Yeah, there wasn't much good for Pitt in this game, besides we hit the over, but a great catch.
That
2 feet down. Great concentration.
That is good. What about my guy Quad Brown? A career-high 372 yards and a touchdown, and Georgia State beat rival Georgia Southern 30-24 in some of that Sun Belt, Fun Belt action. And it's almost here. The most coveted individual award in sports. Helmet stickers will be handed out momentarily on College Football Final. Sonic Blockbuster on ESPN. Michigan State, Duke, Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern. And then the nightcap, a nice one. Kansas, Kentucky, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN, and the ESPN app. Great finish between Utah and Washington. Utah was having their way with the Huskies until Kamari Pleasant starts to come back.
And Washington's got a real good stable of backs. They'll play 4 guys in a game. They're always staying fresh, and they wear defenses down.
And then Dylan Morris to Cade Otton. What a grab to make it a 1-score game.
Cade Otton had 8 catches for 108. Start the comeback. Here we go.
I mean, this was impressive. And with this pass, Morris to Otton, Washington stopped the streak. They were 0-30 in the last 15 years when they trailed a game by 20 or more points. How about the comeback? 24-21, the final. Time now for the best part of the program. Helmet sticker time. We give you, the player, the award. Joey, start us off.
I'm going Sincere McCormick, UTSA, 23 carries, 251, 2 touchdowns, broke his own school record for rushing yards in a game.
All right, no Chuba Hubbard, no LD Brown for the Pokes, no problem. Desmond Jackson carries it 36 times. Workhorse, 235 rushing yards, 3 TDs as they beat Texas Tech.
Jalen Tolbert, South Alabama. What a game he had. 10 receptions, 252 yards, 3 touchdowns. Only player in Sunbelt history with 250 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns in a game.
I'm going Shakur Brown, Michigan State, 2 interceptions in a win against Northwestern. How about Mel Tucker's season? Has a win over Michigan and now a top 10 upset over Northwestern. Not a great season, but that's 2 great points.
Big-time players make big plays in big games in the Iron Bowl. Mac Jones, who else? 302 passing yards, 5 TDs. Becomes the 3rd Alabama player ever to throw 5 TDs in a single game.
And we're going to end the show with how we started it. Jaret Patterson, if there was ever a helmet sticker award created for helmet stickers, 409 yards, 8 rushing touchdowns, tying a major college single-game record. Jaret Patterson, that's for you. For Jesse, Joey, I'm Matt. Have a great rest of the week. We'll see you next time on College Football Final.